They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're
Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Friday edition of the Glenn Lall Show. Now it's Friday, and the man of the moment loves when Friday comes around, and he just left a message for you all to see that he has a life too. And now he was invited by someone special, and he decided to throw you guys into the trench tonight. After all, he said that the government and the opposition already have you all in the gutter. But he is not them. He will throw you all in the trench. So, read between the lines. Guys, at least you can swim out of that one. He has gone to enjoy himself with his friends, coconut water, and of course, you know, his vodka. And he has said the police can't find him tonight because the police can't find him on the road after hours because he plans to go home day clean. So, however, he has left a few important messages for all of you to listen to. And when the time comes for phone call, he said that you can call your neighbor and friends, and he's at Palm Court. And if you see him, tell him we say good night, or you can call him on his telephone number 624-6456. If you can't sleep, he will answer your questions this evening. However, on the serious side of things, he has left some very few important messages for all of you to listen to. And of course, we really encourage you that you can call your friends and tell your friends that you can join us on the Glenn Lall Show to listen to such. So, without further ado, my name is Joshua Van Slackman. Here is what he has left for you guys. Enjoy. I'm your moderator, Joshua. And of course, the man who he left without a vodka this evening. But he did left some coconut water. And of course, I was invited to join him at Palm Court after the program to continue to drink nothing but coconut water this evening. So I'll now hand you over to Mr. Glenn Lall, who has left some recordings that you will listen to this evening. He really apologized that he couldn't have been here with you this evening. But of course, he didn't left you untended. We have some programs that we will play for you right now. So we hope that you're going to enjoy. This is Kaieteur Radio, and this is the Glenn Lall Show.
Royalty. Royalty, royalty. What is royalty? What royalty? Does it mean? Royalty, as we talk, what is royalty? Ever since we discover oil. Let me explain what is royalty in a very simple way. For those of you who don't know, royalty is getting a portion, a percentage of anything or from everything you own. Rice field, sugar cane, fish farm, gold and diamond fields, plantain and Edo farms, forest lands with timber, fruits and vegetables farm. If a man wants to work your land, pick or fish your product, they must give you a portion, a share. That portion or share is considered royalty. We learn the word royalty from the Queen when she own and control all them countries around the world, including Guyana. She put that word royalty in place. You either deliver her royalty or your head is gone. She used to demand, if you want timber, gold, diamond, bauxite, oil, or anything in the country she ruled, you have to give her royalty. She used to tell you, no problem, you can go cut or dig it up how much you want, but she must get 1/8, which is equal to 12.5% of every piece of timber you cut, every ounce of gold you dig up, every barrel of oil you bring up, every ton of bauxite. Yes, whatever you bring up, whatever you cut, 12.5% was her minimum figure she set for herself as royalty. Nothing less than 12.5%. And she called it royalty because it was for the royal family. They had owned the country, just like how you own your rice field or you go land. You demanded 12.5%. That is why most of them countries that I talk about on my program last Monday, every one of them, royalty starts at 12.5% and up. What Guyana got? 2%. The Queen don't want to hear whether you win, whether you lose, or break even. She doesn't care. She must get 12.5% of whatever you take from her country, down to the animals in the country. Anything you take from the country, you must give the Queen 12.5%, which is equal to 1/8 of everything. That is royalty, Guyanese. That is what all of us understand, me and you. But I am not certain where the PPP, the PNC, or the AFC leaders learn that word from, because our understanding is different from them own. Maybe them went to a Dutch school or a Spanish school and didn't understand the English language. But even if that is so, they ought to know better, because all countries do it. Every citizens do it all the time. Like I said, if you own a piece of gold land in the Puruni or in the Cayuni, and you allow Jagdeo or Harman to go work the land, them have to pay you 12.5% of the gold them dig up, because it's your land. It's the same with every other things you own. Royalty is something comes in different ways too. If you have a fishing boat and somebody wants to borrow it to go catch fish in the river, them have to give you 12.5% of the fish for you just use their boat. If you get a car and you rent it out to a man to do taxi work, he has to pay you a percentage that you agreed on, and he has to pay you every day, whether you pick up passengers or not. If you have a mango farm and you allow people to go pick, 12.5% of the mango belongs to you, the owner. Any business you do, 12.5% of it belongs to you. You don't want to hear whether they win, lose, or if the product spoil. No, you must get 12.5% payments on the products, or you get 12.5% of the product itself. That's how the Queen did it, and that's how the world followed. The Queen and want to hear how much gasoline or diesel you use, or how much machines you have to buy, how long you stay in the fish pen, the gold pen, the diamond pen, or the oil field. All she wants to know is how much you bring out or ship out. She must get her 12.5%, plain and simple. Every citizen with a little brain in this world knows that. Yes, everyone with a modicum of brain knows that. Not my words. Jagdeo, our vice president, used those words. And them being unsigned, 1% and 2% royalty for our oil with ExxonMobil. He and Trotman and others got more brain than everybody else. But them didn't learn the percentage from the Queen. Maybe them learn percentage from some other queen that we don't know of. Maybe. Just maybe, guys. Guyanese lives doesn't matter. Only their lives matter. What you say, guys? Yes, their lives matter, not Guyanese lives matter. These financial gurus we have in this country, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo and Winston Jordan and the others, not using their financial skills to change or fix this royalty disaster for us, the Guyanese people. No, they're not doing that. You're not hearing a word from them. Trotman is another one. He graduated from the best university in this world that teaches contract negotiations and negotiated and signed 2% royalty for us. This is not an insult to Guyanese. It is downright dishonest for our people. I think the university should revoke that certificate issued to him, or he should return it to the university with dignity. Trotman did say, in all honesty, he was instructed and directed to sign that 2% contract with ExxonMobil. You hear that, Guyana? Please join me every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:20 p.m. so we can gaff and laugh more. Or listen and grin every day at 11 a.m. for the rebroadcast of my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday shows. Thanks for listening, and peace be with you. Guyana, we are returning to slavery. These foreign people fetching away our wealth and living like kings and queens, while Guyana is left to starve, living like beggars. Brothers and sisters, we are the richest country on earth per capita as I speak now. We have wealth that can make Guyana greater than America overnight, but we are not benefiting from it. We cannot fix the sewage system in this country. It is stinking all over. We have a rundown and a stinking city. The salaries being paid to our citizens can't even pay some of them rent. The pensioners we pay to the whole people can't even buy Pampers for them. Our citizens driving old reconditioned vehicles and driving donkey carts, living in blackouts morning, noon and night, drinking dirty water. Some of us can't even afford to bury their own dead in this country. We can't even patch the potholes on the roads, much less pave it. We can't fix the cokers and the drains to avoid flooding and disaster. Guyanese wearing rubber slipper and cork ball on their foot. We got people begging all over. We got people thieving all over. Some of them are riding motorbike now, snatching umbrella for put little food on a children table. While the foreign people who fetching away, we will, living like kings and queens, drinking champagne and fine wine. Them taking our wealth, building their cities with skyscrapers, building highways and railways, driving Mercedes-Benz, Lamborghini, wearing Gucci, Nike, and Louis Vuitton. Yes, them living the life building their countries with me and you money. Yes, our gold, our diamond, our timber, our bauxite, and now our oil. What a beautiful Guyana this is. Guys, we gotta wake up. We gotta stand up. This is a message from Lall. Please join me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:20 p.m. and let's continue. Let's continue this fight for our own thing. Citizens of Guyana, brothers and sisters, ExxonMobil putting a padlock on Guyana's gate. Listen how Exxon put a padlock on we gate to control our animals. Kaieteur News carried a story yesterday which says ExxonMobil running ahead with a fiber optic cable to connect from the oil ship to their head office in Georgetown, so them can monitor real time how much oil coming up every minute and what is going on out there. They will also update their shareholders all over the world as to how them money growing by the minute in their bank accounts. You hear that? While our leaders from both sides never see it wise to install such a cable to monitor the oil as it comes up, despite many calls for them to do so ever since. The King of Saudi Arabia and other oil producing countries have their meter set up in their offices so they can see in real time what comes up, so that nobody can rob them. This very simple but powerful method of monitoring a country's wealth does not seem important to our leaders, guys. No, it's not important to our leaders. Them just blindly accepting whatever figure Exxon tells them or show them. Your cattle ranch gate open and the people fetching out your animals, and you am putting a padlock on the gate with a checker to monitor how many animals going out. Guys, how much more smart can our leaders be? You tell me. Now you have the man who fetching out your animals putting a padlock on your gate that belongs to you with their checkers for see for themselves what is coming out, how much is coming out, and you the owner taking the figures what them tell you. What a Guyana, eh? This is a beautiful country with beautiful leaders. We can buy a padlock to put two people to check for yourself, and you don't have to go to the bank. Guys, Guyana don't have to go to the World Bank for a loan. The money them is give away every month. 50 million US they give away every month on tax waivers alone. Can buy 2 cable, can land 2 cable from any country out there and connect to the ship. We can also sell bandwidth and make profits from the cable, so that we can see and record every drop of our wealth that comes up daily. Our leaders can't see that, can't understand that. Hear what GRA telling us. Them does have to rely on Exxon whenever they come in. You hear this? Whenever they come in, give them the information, the records. Man, the people gonna fetch out 50 shipload in a month. And when them come in, them will give GRA a figure with 5 shipload ship out. And we have to take that. We have to believe that. Yes. It's like we police force got to rely on the bandits for send vehicle. For the police to go and investigate the crime them committed. What a Guyana. Beautiful Guyana you're living in. Now, Guyana has to depend on Exxon to use their cable that they're installing to monitor. I am waiting to see how much they will charge us for that, because you know you can't get anything for free from Exxon. So guys, brothers and sisters, pray for these leaders, please. Please, I beg you. I beg you, O Creator, help us all. Thanks for listening. You can join me every Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays at 7:20, and let's talk. Let's have a frank discussion as to how our leaders running this land with our wealth. Thank you. 442 billion giveaway tax waivers. Let me repeat that to you guys. $442 billion giveaway in tax waivers. Let me ask you, man, do you know anyone who would pay bandit to rob you?
No.
No. Do you know anyone who does give away millions and don't have food to feed their family?
No.
Do you know anyone, any caring or loving government who does give away billions and don't have food to feed their family or their people? Do you know anyone who does set up bandits to rob you? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you could say
That is not a no.
That's a yes.
That is not a no. That is a yes. Plenty there around the place. And enough of them, they're in politics. Like some of our leaders. You guys got to hear this. Listen to me carefully, brothers and sisters. From 2016 to 2020, our leaders give away 442 billion Guyana dollars,
Wow.
which is equivalent to 2.2 billion US dollars in tax exemptions. Had they collected that money, it could have paid off all Guyana's debts. Every single cent Guyana owes. And by now, all of us would have been jumping for joy, knowing that we ain't owe nobody. You hear that?
Yep.
You know, when you pay off courts or singers, how you just feel? You don't have to run from the phone when it rings, because you know for sure it's not courts or singer calling you. Yeah. It's a good feeling. You feel free. A burden has lifted off your shoulder when you pay off people that you owe. It's the same way we would have been feeling had they collected the taxes and paid off Guyana's debt. It's Mr. Jagdeo, the Vice President. He is the one that said Guyana debt stands at 2.1 billion US dollars. Hear this one. Yet both governments give away more than that in tax exemptions. And mostly to them oil companies. Are you believe this thing? Are you really believe these things? Out of the 442 billion them give away, 295 billion went to the business sector, particularly those foreigners in the oil sector. Wow. That is paying a thief, man, for rob you of your wealth. The tax waivers we give to the oil companies alone, Guyana, could have run the country for this whole year. And we didn't have to go beg for that 100 billion to pay to feed the people in this country. You hear that?
Yes.
Them give away that amount, despite the commission them set up, warn them that Guyana tax giveaway is worse than the whole Caribbean. You hear that? The commission them set up to guide government on it. Tell them it is the worst giveaway in the whole Caribbean. The commission said the last from the tax exemption is a cause for great concerns.
Yes.
And what happened? We continue to give away. We behind and messing through we ribs. These are your caring leaders. These are your financial gurus we have running this land. Hear this one. That same commission said the giveaway does not justify the income. Where you getting back? How you like that one? It's like the $100 million US in fuel you give to Rusal. You don't even get $100 Guyana dollar in cent. When we do the maths with the 442 billion that I gave away from 2016 to 2020 was about $110 billion a year.
Wow.
Guess how much them just borrow every year for run the country? Less than 50 billion. This year them decide to borrow 100 billion. So you're giving away 110 billion Guyana dollars a year and borrowing 100 million for live on, to eat, to pay pensioners, to pay salaries, to pay cane cutters, to pay the same farmer that called us just now. We give away more than what we borrow, and we borrow and paying interest on it. These are your financial gurus, the smart men and women of this country we have. You know, I used to hide from my teachers at the bottom house when I used to go to school. But it seems that our leaders used to be learning maths in the classroom because them brighter than me. Them brighter than me. Wow. Them surely know maths different though. Them should know maths different. Because I never learned maths that way. In the first 5 months of 2020, them give away $51 billion. You hear that? The first 5 months. That is 10 billion a month. You hear that? $10 billion a month them will give away, which is 50 million US dollars every month. Is this penny wise and pound foolish? I really don't know. Can somebody help me who went to school, who understand accounting a little bit? It's like you have 10 mangoes and you give it away and now going for borrow. Now you're going for borrow the 10 mango for eat. Is what really happening in this land, man? They use these same tax exemptions and concessions to bring in items and cream off we wealth. Them don't pay any corporate tax, VAT, duty, nothing whatsoever. And still saying them never make a profit. You guys remember I just talked about the bauxite company. Them never ever make a cent profit. In the meanwhile, the local companies who do not get those privileges got to broke with backs to pay all them taxes,
Yes.
which the foreign companies are exempted from. As I said, when I began this program tonight, all of us have to speak to the leaders of this land. We need to remind them all that our interests comes first. Our lives matter. And our lives matter in front that of the foreign lives. Guyana, I have a question for you. Who goes into a business with a partner in which he gives you a limited time to verify the bills he's spending? Well, that is what ExxonMobil and the oil people doing to us. Yes, it is Raphael Trotman who signed that agreement in which Guyana has only 2 years to check and verify all expenses Exxon threw at us. When all over the world, oil countries demands no less than 5 years to do their checking, Guyana settled for 2. Guyana has gotten over 10 billion US dollar in bills so far from Lisa 1 and Lisa 2. And the 2 years already expire on us to check that. So we have to accept and pay that like an idiot, like a fool. Yes. Yes. Now, brothers and sisters, we have the third project Payara, in which another 10 billion US dollar in bills have been thrown at us to check. And the time is already running out too on this one to check. And what are we hearing from Jagdeo, the Vice President? Yes, them now trying to put together a team to check it, to verify these bills. Man, something is wrong. Something is wrong in this country. 6 years now we discover oil, and these financial gurus can't put together an audit team on to now. What a Guyana this is. What a way to run country, guys. You doing business with a partner, and he gives you 1 week to check the bills, and if you don't check it within that time, you have to accept whatever he throws at you. What is going on here in this country, guys? So if he buys a bundle bora, let's say for $10,000, a tin of baby milk for $6,000, a gallon of rice for $5,000, a hammer for $25,000, or a spade for 20 grand, and you don't check it on time, you have to pay that. You hear me? You have to pay it. This is what our leaders telling this nation, guys, telling me and you. Guys, you gotta wake up. We need to wake up. We need to say something. We need to do something now and quickly before it's too late. Stop running around for 25,000 COVID money, hamper money, in which you can get $2.5 million every month by just speaking out against this highway robbery that is being committed by ExxonMobil and our backward leaders, slothful leaders we have, both of them. So if Guyana don't find a team in time, brothers and sisters, to check this other $10 billion from Payara, cat yam, all we dinner with those bills. Guys, not even a prep student would sign terms and conditions like that in a contract. Agreeing to just 2 years for check billions upon billions of American dollars, man. Hear how much more sickening this robbing contract gets. All those expenses, those costs, let's say it tallied up to $100 million a day, the oil company is allowed to take out 75% of that every day before profit is shared. So out of the $100 million, they take out $75 million, then profits is shared. So each party gets 12.5 million each. Guyana get 12.5, while they walk away with $87.5 million a day. Guys, if you're worried about what you just heard, just listen to this. Out of we $12.5 million we get, Raphael Trotman agreed in the contract that Guyana will pay Exxon taxes out of that. Yes, take out 25% taxes of that figure, Guyana leaves with barely 9 million. So ExxonMobil walks away with 91 million out of the 100, and Guyana is left to settle with 9 million. That's business. Brothers and sisters, that is business. That's what is going on every day in this land by our leaders, and every single one of them is silent. How much more can we take, man? How much? When are we gonna say something? This is Lall speaking. Please join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to talk about these types of business this country going on with. Namaste to all of you. Guyanese, my fellow citizen, I love you all. Try, perhaps, maybe. Those are the three words all our leaders running this country with. Our AG says so. Before he stick to law, what you know a little bit about, he pushing him out in business. Jagdeo and the financial gurus who ain't got no figures to show to defend this gas to shore project, now using Anil Nandalal or AG for sing the same song. He said, like you, meaning all of us, he don't know when power outages will stop. He grew up in this country and now is a middle-aged man, and it still got blackout, and he don't know when it will stop. But as part of the government, they are working towards it. That is why they're pursuing so many avenues to provide power that is cheap and an alternative to fossil fuel, meaning something other than GPL. He said they are promoting solar, promoting hydro, promoting wind, and pushing the gas to shore project. This gentleman promoting and pushing a lot of things at the same time. Maybe we should call him a pusher man. He said, you can't fault them for trying. If the APNU AFC didn't cut Amelia Falls, perhaps the blackout would have done. Perhaps. You hear that? He ain't certain. Wow. He no know. He ain't know is not perhaps. We would have had a $2 billion debt on we head. He no know that. They don't check that part at all. They just like to spend our tax dollars without doing the right thing to make sure whatever they do is profitable. No. Them just want to spend to try, and perhaps it gonna work. To add more debts on our backs. Anil say you can't fault us for not trying. he got to be a lawyer. Then there's no they can't win a case, but then there's tell the clients, some of them, does even take their money and say they're going to still try. Maybe, or perhaps, they might win. It's the same way they want to run this country, by trying, maybe and perhaps. Just like President Ali, he's singing how there is no maintenance of the power lines for the past 4 years, but I'm going to try to fix it. Yes, brothers and sisters. Yes, my fellow citizens. They will try. Mr. Nandalal said how he hopeful. He's hopeful the upgrades that are currently being done will be completed soon, and we will have some normalcy restored in the electricity sector. He gone with the same tune what Jagdev was singing without any evidence to show. But he did add 3 words to sing that song. Try, maybe, and perhaps. Those are the words them running this country with, Guyanese. Yes, maybe, try, and perhaps. This is beautiful Guyana. The land of maybe, try, and perhaps it gonna work. Let me say this, guys. Bloomberg, a world-respected financial center in the heart of America, said that natural gas is falling off the map. It's dead. Solar, hydro, and wind is far cheaper and cleaner to use. Them said enough gas power companies get catch off guard, and now they're left with billions in assets that they can't sell or even give away. You hear that, guys? The CEO for a huge gas plant in Spain just said, if you can find somebody who's ready to offer a good price for them power plant, then them ready to sell, because them can't find nobody. I do hope Mr. Anil Nandalal, our president, Jagdeo, Brasington, Patterson, and Harmon, plus Ramjatan, listening and taking note. Maybe, just maybe, y'all can go and bring that one from Spain. The people ready to sell it. The people ready to give it away for next to nothing. And maybe, or perhaps, if you guys try the right smile when bargaining it for it, y'all might get it for free. They ain't got no use for it now. The whole world is going solar. The EU Commission, European Union Commission just said, them is not going to wait until people tell them that gas is no longer going to be used. Them said I'm gonna get out the business, because there's no point building gas plants now that will be of no use in a few years' time. You hear that, Guyana? Not Glenn saying so. It's the European Union Commission saying so. The people say, it don't make sense to put an unbearable financial burden on the shoulders of your children to build gas plants that can't use. You hear me? I am speaking from them. Those are their messages to the world. Just this week, they announced those things. 2 days ago, the US President Joe Biden announced a big $2.2 trillion energy plan to move away from oil and gas to solar, hydro, and wind, which is cheaper and cleaner. The European Investment Bank president just said they will end all financing for gas and oil projects by the end of this year. The man said, to put it mildly, gas is over and it has a stroke near dead. You hear that, Guyana? This is not Glenn saying this. The President of the United States, Mr. Joe Biden, said so. The EU saying so. The banks saying so. And these bright chaps, our financial gurus, saying we're going to borrow billions for try this thing. And perhaps, maybe, it's going to work, according to the Attorney General. Thanks for listening. Hope you can join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday so we can try, maybe, or perhaps have a frank discussion on all these things that's happening in this country. Thanks again for listening. You know, an economist once said, help or aid is not coming from European countries or the North American countries. She said aid is going there from places like Guyana, the third world countries. She said them countries depend on countries like Guyana in every possible way because we have the resources, we have the gold, excuse me, we have the diamond, we have the oil, the timber, and every other resources. Yes, it's we who have them. She said, to get your wealth, they destabilize your place. They create chaos and confusion. They have political parties fighting against each other and race fighting against race. Isn't that the same thing happening here between the PPP and the PNC? Guys, yes, pay attention and wake up, Guyana. Wake up. Every day them cussing down each other with a set of creepy and crappiness, set of nonsense. Talking about who thief a little piece land here and who thief a little piece land there. Who get a side deal, getting a little change here and a little change there. Send out a couple protesters here, send out a couple protesters there. Put them to protest at the sugar factory, put them to protest at the bauxite factory. Keep the press busy with these little freaking mangroves. And demand that government do this and government do that. Basically, keeping all you cussing each other, fighting each other. Fighting who got job. Which race I get which job. And who getting paid more than who. All this is distraction tactics being used to destabilize the country. Yeah, I'll continue. Continue this way. Guyana gonna grow. They're gonna fetch out. They're gonna fetch out not only your resources by the plane loads and boat loads. They're gonna fetch out all of you too in your coffin very soon. Here, more tactics they use to make you feel they're the best for you. Them love you. They want to do anything for you. When them give you something, them just call the press, the television, the radio, the newspapers, and big headlines. Oh, look how good we are. We are giving y'all 300 million to help sustain the fight against HIV, and how Guyana will be a good partner to fight climate change. Somebody carried a story and I spotted it in one of the newspaper. Oh, Jagdeo Friends newspaper. They had that was a lead story. The US ready to help partner with Guyana to help fight climate change. But when they're thieving our billions in the US dollars, then let's do that in the dark. In the darkest of the night. In closed rooms. Without the flashing cameras. Without reporters. Without the press. And in some cases, under the table. You know what I mean, eh? You know what I mean, right, guys? Yes. Beautiful Guyana this is. While we fighting among ourselves, getting crumbs and receiving aid and hands out, the international community, the IMF, World Bank, and them putting out statement saying how Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the region. But they are not telling us whose pockets that fastest growing money is going into. No, they are not telling us that. Yes. We bringing up 3 million barrels of oil per month right now. But who growing with the money? Ask what Guyana getting. Yes. Guyana is producing 3 million barrels a month. That is on the books. That's in the record. You hear me? But what Guyana getting? We have to ask Joseph Harmon, the opposition leader, Winston Jordan, our Vice President Jagdeo, and Ashni Singh. Them is the financial guru. We barely get in 2 barrels. And that is the fastest growing country in the region. You hear that? Are you understand what I'm saying, guys? Omai declared 5,000 ounces of gold from Guyana. But did Guyana get any money? Any one of we get any of it? No. Yes. It produced in Guyana. It recorded in Guyana. But did we get 5,000? No, man. We barely get 100 ounces. And that is considered by the IMF and the IDB and all these financial gurus as the fastest growing country in the region. Our leaders are very happy. Jordan, Jagdeo, Ashni Singh, Carl Greenidge. Man, you got to hear how them the start it in the press. Guyana is on top of the world. Many of you may not know how GDP does be measured in countries. Many of you don't know. Let me explain in simple layman terms what is GDP and how the world measures it. Listen carefully to me, please. There are many people I talk to doesn't understand. They don't even know what GDP is. Guys, GDP stands for gross domestic product. It means simply how much goods and services your country produce or plan to produce every year. Like your rice, your bauxite, your gold, your timber, your oil, and so on. They measure all that, and that's how they arrive. They tell you whether you're going to win, lose, or if you're going to draw, and how fast you're going to grow, or how fast you're going to grow down. I am not going to use country to confuse you. Let me use two counties. You know, two counties. Berbice and Essequibo. Berbice plant 10 acres of rice. And Essequibo plant 5 acres. Who you think will make more money? Berbice or Essequibo? Berbice. Because Berbice plant 10. Nah. Essequibo gonna get more. Let me explain. Essequibo plant 5 and Berbice plant 10. But Essequibo is richer. Why? Right? Because Berbice got Granger, Jagdale, and Harmon in the business. Don't laugh. It's simple. You need to understand what I'm saying. Right? It's not laughable. When them cut the 10 acre in Berbice, them gone away with 9 acre of the rice and left 1 acre in Berbice. You understand? But it record in Berbice that Berbice plant 10 acre rice field. But Berbice didn't get 10. Berbice only get 1. So Berbice grow. That's the point. Granger, Harmon, and Jagdale get away with that and bring them to Demerara. And Essequibo, that plant the 5, them get the full 5 acre. So which one is richer? Essequibo, correct. Plain and simple. That's how simple this thing is. That is how you check GDP. And you put out a statement. Right? And they say, Berbice is a big, Berbice plant 10 acre. When the Berbicians only get 1 acre of the rice. No. That's how the foreigners, that's how they measure. They measure what plant in the country, man. They measure your oil the same way. They measure the gold, what Omai bring up, what Aurora gold mine bring up. And they lump all of that together. You understand? And say, hey, 3 million barrel, buy. 3 million barrel we get. You understand? What Guyana produce. But what them don't know, 98 gone out of the country and 2 left here. So Guyana grow? No. Exactly. That's how simple this thing is. That's how simple it is. But our governments, both the PPP and the PNC, them is happy to say, hey, guys, Guyana, you see what the international body said? Guyana is set to grow 43% next year. You understand? They want to look good in government. They might tell their supporters, you see? And poor we stupid people who don't understand GDP believe by yes, we country growing. But they're not telling you, the people out down there, that nothing you ain't got to forget. They're basically deceiving you. The international community is deceiving us. You understand? And our leaders is deceiving the people. Because I'm going to use the international figure to show you. You see how simple this thing is? Yeah, man. Berbice plant 10. Right? And get 1. Esco plant the 5 and then get a 5. Yes. Yeah, it's like Guyana produced 3 million barrel of the oil. And how much we get? 2%. And then have 98%. But they're not telling us that. This is the kind of skullduggery that's going on in the world today. That's the kind of monkey business, these weeders for leaders, we have in this country, not telling us or not talking about. Man, you just got to read their statements from Jordan to Jagdeo and all of them when they talk about this thing. It's like you plant 2 mango trees. You got 1 in your yard, I got 1 in my yard. Okay? All 2 got the same amount. But you bring a man for pick out your mango and he go with it. And me pick all me mango, me keep me mango here. You understand? Who richer? Me richer. That's right. Because you allow the man to carry you on. So that's how we grow. That's how we grow. But nobody knows that. Plenty of people doesn't understand it this way. Guys, you have to keep listening to this program. There is a lot for me to tell y'all. I'm going to tell y'all everything I know, because I can't keep it in me any longer. It has becoming a cancer in my body. And when I talk it out, I'm very happy. I am very, very, very happy. So you guys got to listen to my program every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday so I could tell y'all. I know many of you guys don't understand what's playing out in this country with our wealth, this enormous wealth we have, and who really getting it. So I need to tell you what's going on. Like I said, Wednesday, I'll be speaking on this, on the Aurora gold mine. Them Chinese that took it over from the Canadian. Them carrying out everything. And the crumbs we got to settle with. Just like the one he come and tell you, they get away, they left in Maurice. And the crumbs the Bobbitions left with. And them gone with the 9. So, how on earth if they go away with everything, this country can develop? I got enough things to report tonight. Some very interesting stuff. And I want to tell you, I really want to tell you, somebody above is looking out for me and for you. You hear me? Somebody above is looking out for you and for me. Them sending the information so I can keep educating all of you. Anybody listen to the love song Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? The love song with the love story? I said that song is a love story, the love affair between ExxonMobil and our local leaders here. But it's not an open affair. It's a secretive affair. Yeah. Now, I am told that our leaders have many more secret affairs with many more of the foreign companies in Guyana. Man, wow. In 2014, our Vice President, Mr. Jagdeo, Anil Nandalal, and the GRA boss, Kaushik Satar at the time, he's now dead, God bless his soul, were plotting to destroy Kaieteur News and send me to jail. That story is online. Just Google it. I was doing the same thing I'm doing now, exposing corruption, skullduggery, and scampishness. The government and our leaders were doing at the time. Things they were doing in secret and away from the cameras them love to pose for. I hadn't a clue as to the depth to which these leaders would go after a man who only trying to better the country through his newspapers. I woke up one morning and found an envelope that was thrown into my yard. And when I opened it, I nearly dropped dead. It was copies of emails between Jagdeo, Anil Nandalal, and Mr. Kaushik Satar. How they were plotting my imprisonment and planning to shut down the Kaieteur News. Yes, I took copies to all the embassies and lodged them there. Some of the diplomats asked me, Glenn, how did you get hold of those emails? My answer was very simple. Guys, I don't know. Like I said at the beginning, somebody up there looking out for me, and they're looking out for all of you too. I do believe that the man above doesn't sleep and found a way to use that individual or individuals to put me on guard. Guys, I told you that story because something similar to that story happened to me yesterday. when I came to the office, there were many envelopes addressed to me. None was lawsuits. None was lawsuits. Thank God. Or should I say amen? You remember many times I talked about how they're keeping contracts secret? Well, I found out that our leaders is also having another love affair, a secret affair. Man, them leaders got to be sweet man or sweet woman in this country. I can't see no other way. Remember, you guys remember how many times I asked that Guyana be allowed to see all these foreign contracts? Well, one, the Aurora gold mines came right in my lap yesterday. The man above knows that we, the people of this country, can't take it no more. What has been happening to us? The injustice from these foreigners who have been robbing, ripping off, and raping us far too long. And all because of our stupid and corrupt leaders. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Creator. And a big thank you to the person or persons who made it possible, who sent that mail into Kaieteur News. I hope the rest of the contracts follow suit quickly in the same manner. What do you think, Josh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring them on.
Yeah, bring them on. We need them. Guyana needs to know. Guyana needs to see what's in there. Tomorrow, we are carrying the first story from that Aurora gold mine contract. Let me give you all a little heads up about what's inside for us. They are paying 1,000 Guyana dollar. Let me repeat that. $5 per acre for our mining land per year. $1,000. You didn't hear me, you hear that?
No, say it again.
1,000 Guyana dollar per acre per year for our gold land. And concession galore in it. Wednesday, I am going to do an entire program on that contract for you to see what is in there for our children and future generations. You will see why our wealth is disappearing and our public servants, the police, the nurses, the soldiers, every one of us, the pensioners, salaries can't raise. I will tell you guys. And you know who signed the contract? Whose ministry signed the contract? The Ministry of Natural Resources was heading at the time by Robert Passad. That same Robert Passad that sit down and signed the Kanji and Kaieteur oil blocks that they say they may know the people them. They've only meet the lawyers and they can't remember the lawyer's name. Yeah. Them same two oil blocks that worth billions of American dollars that they sign away, give away for free. Yes, he's the man. He was responsible. I don't know if he signed the contract, but he was the minister at the time that signed that Aurora gold mine contract. Yeah. Wednesday, I'll give you the full details. You are listening? Nothing. There is nothing inside but a harder life for all of us. We are being raped, robbed, and ripped off the same way Exxon is doing it right now with us. It seems everything I asked for arriving one by one. Please, Father, let ExxonMobil send us that loan agreement so we can see the interest rate, just the interest rate we are paying on that $20 billion loan sitting out there in Lisa 1, 2, and 3. Amen. Please. Please, I beg. 4 days have passed, and I have not heard a word from any one of our leaders on that loan interests we are paying. But Exxon is running ahead with Lisa 4. I said that before. That one is the biggest one coming. That one alone is another 20 billion American dollars, which we will be paying 4 billion American dollars interest rate alone. And how much Guyana getting? $200-300 million. The 20 billion US dollar we're paying on that interest rate, is more than Guyana budget for 2021. And I remember I tell y'all, we borrow 100 billion, which is a third of the 21 budget, to pay salary and to pay pensioners. Yes, more coming on us. Go Guyana. Go. Go, Mr. Jagdeo. Go, Mr. Ali. Go. Silent, Mr. Harmon. Are you keep on silent? Stay quiet, Guyana. Stay quiet. The leaders are preparing the graveyards for all of us. For all of us. A man call in which night and tell me to be careful. I want all of you to be careful, because the graveyard is not preparing only for Glen Lall. It's preparing for all Guyanese by our leaders. Remember I told you guys Exxon is in talks with the shipbuilders already, without our permission, without government's permission. Continue to sleep, guys.